Good afternoon, wherever you are, members of the Intelligentsia. It's very rare that I come out, and you all know. So let me do a short test of my audio. Quickly share the video. You people are not ordinary people. You guys are not ordinary people, and you are members of the Intelligentsia, meaning you belong to the class of some of the most intelligent people in the country, and I respect you a whole lot. So please go ahead and share the video as we discuss a couple of things, one of which has to do with, if I can get it, Senator Amara Conan response. I will just play by it because my focus is on a letter that was written to our president by the CEO of Ivanhoe Atlantic, which I find very disrespectful. And as members of the Intelligentsia, it's important that let me block this person first, because my own thing, and I hear nobody force you under my top, because I can say under my podcast, I did not call you, I didn't ask you to go call your auntie to come here and talk tabata. So if you see you not on, that means I block you. And any other person who try, I will block them also. Okay? I'm very firm about that. You just look at what we have. We say the Intelligentsia. You got a place to go play, go play. Small children, and I have era here. If you come here to insult or to just use stupid language, I will block you. This is my stuff. So Facebook gave me the right to block people. And yes, I've got zero tolerance for unintelligent people. I got zero tolerance. Oh, you know, you're supposed to have thick skin. You got thick skin for people who attack you on the issue, not people who insult you. It means they got nothing to contribute to the discourse. So yes, you're willing to accept a debate. You want to discuss the issue, but
what issue you're discussing?
The Honorable Minister have arrived, but I think he will pardon me and give me my 15 minutes to address this issue with a letter from Ivanhoe, which I have on my screen. I too find it very disrespectful to the president of our country, and I want to be very brave about it. Hundreds of you now appearing. I will read the letter. You are members of the Intelligentsia. You will decide. We always do that here on this platform. So you get to decide. The contents of the letter will be read to you. A letter written to a president will somehow be copied to Spoon Network. It's the first disrespect. If you wanted to write an open letter to the president, then you should have written and said, open letter to President Joseph Numa Boakai. That means open letter, okay, to the president. But you cannot write the office of the president and copy the Spoon Network, who would be pleasured into putting it on a display on their Facebook page, discussing it on their platform, in a fashion of mockery at our president because of the language, the content, and the context of the document. So it became somewhat for people to laugh. And it is not funny to members of the intelligentsia, as I know. I usually discuss with people of the intelligentsia, and it is not funny to them that you will write the president of Liberia as if to say you want to disgrace him and disgrace his government. So you send a copy over to Spoon, and they too play around with it and make a mockery of the president, yet you expect the president to act. Implying that somehow we from America, this is Liberia. This is a country. So let's read the letter, and we'll do it by paragraph, and I will share my thoughts with members of the intelligentsia, and you guys get to decide. Because here on this platform, we put our parties aside, we put our religion aside, we put our gender aside. We are members of the intelligentsia, meaning a class of intelligent Liberian people, and we put our country first in everything we do. Okay? So, let's go to the letter. 3rd of May 2025. President of the, His Excellency Joseph Numa Boakai Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia, the Executive Mansion, Monrovia, Liberia. Dear Mr. President, it tells you that the letter is addressed to the President, and somehow you will give the copies now to Spoon to make a mockery of the President. So it says, Dear Mr. President, reference, correspondence from National Investment Commission dated 30th April 2025. So this is recent. First paragraph. As members of the intelligentsia, please listen. First paragraph. I attach for your reference a copy of the new letter, of a letter received by Ivanhoe Atlantic Incorporated from the National Investment Commission on 1 May 2025 regarding the access and concession agreement currently under negotiations. Take note of that. Currently under negotiations. That's their own letter. Between the government of Liberia and Ivanhoe Liberia. As you are aware, meaning the president now, these negotiations with the Interministerial Concessions Committee have now been ongoing for over 9 months. First paragraph. So in the first paragraph, you acknowledge that an agreement is, quote, currently under negotiations between the government of Liberia and Ivanhoe Liberia Incorporated, whatever they call. You say, oh, it has been going on for over 9 months now. You think that Tubman time yet? Where if you look at Bomi County today, it used to be Bomi Hills. It is now Bomi Holes. LMC left from there, and nothing was left for the people of Bomi. NROC, Grand Cape Bank County, they left from there, and over 10,000 people died in the Camp Norway disaster, mudslide disaster. Any one of you can recall from the intelligentsia. Bomb mines today, look at it today, and you think an agreement that is currently, according to you, under these negotiations should be expedited on your terms? That we should not do sufficient due diligence as a country? That's your first paragraph. Disrespectful to the president. Second paragraph. As you will note, it's like somebody speaking to somebody again. To the president. Second paragraph. As you will note, the letter advises that the government has decided to designate Asila Mita Liberia as the operator of the existing Yekepa Buchanan railway line. position is fundamentally inconsistent with the commitment made by you, including those articulated in Executive Number 136, which you issued in October 2024, and your repeated verbal assurances to us over the past year. Listen to this again. They said to the president, as you will note, the letter advises that the government has decided to designate. The government did not instruct. The government did not say that this is it. In their own letter, they said, as you will note, quote, the letter, what letter? What letter? The letter advises that the government has decided to designate ArcelorMittal Liberia as the operator. So you are not even sure. Then in your second sentence, in the second paragraph, you say this position is fundamentally inconsistent with the commitment made by you, that is the president, including those articulated in the Executive Order 136, which you issued. I want you to listen to that. Two things down. And your repeated verbal assurances to us over the past year. Those commitments were clear, semicolon. That's their own letter. Those commitments were clear, semicolon. Liberia would adopt a multi-user rail regime with infrastructure owned by the state, governed by the National Railway Authority, and operated independently of any infrastructure users. So now, if you are quoting the government's position from a policy standpoint, that it was carefully articulated that Liberia would adopt a multi-user rail regime, how is it that a letter that you did not tell us came from a specific place will advise that ArcelorMittal will use the railway, and for that reason, you are saying that that letter from an unknown place is inconsistent, or if you like, from the National Investment Commission, is inconsistent with what the president is saying, blah, blah, blah. Then you come back and say that the policy there states, and I'm quoting your letter after your semicolon, that Liberia will adopt a multi-rail regime with infrastructure owned by the state, governed by the National Railway Authority. By the way, and my colleague right here, do we have a National Railway Authority approved now by the legislature or sanctioned by the legislature? Why would these people want us to rush everything and just take our things the way they want to take it? But you are addressing a statesman that we revere, a president that we cherish, a president that we respect. Can anyone write such a letter to Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, him that I know too well? Can you do that? But they continue that in the third paragraph of their communication, I'm going to the third paragraph, it is my understanding that the advice conveyed by Chairman Blebo was not endorsed by the full IMCC, which is the Interministerial Concession Committee. Let's repeat what they're saying. It is my understanding. Yes, that's your understanding. But what is the reality? What is the reality? You are saying, it is my understanding. That's your understanding. You are writing to our president. What you understand is far from the reality. What you understand is not we. It's not what we as a nation accepts. What your understanding is not our priority. What your understanding is not our government's policy. What your understanding is not our government's decision. So to say, it is my understanding that the advice conveyed by Chairman Blebo was not endorsed by the full IMCC, with the Minister of Mines, Justice, Finance reportedly absent from the meeting. Reportedly, those of us who are communications, czars, gurus, whatever you want to call us, commentators, whatever. The first thing you said, it is my understanding, meaning that's what you know. We don't operate by your understanding. We operate by our government's policy. We operate by our laws. We operate as a sovereign nation. We operate as a people responsible for their own destiny as a sovereign nation. Then you came back to say that the mines, justice, finance ministers, I'm quoting them, reportedly absent. Did you do your homework before writing such nonsensical letter to the president? You said they were reportedly absent. But every meeting, has minutes. And there is attendance. Which one of you, members of the Intelligentsia, have gone to a meeting but did not sign attendance? And does not even know whether you have minutes of the meeting. But you will use words such as, it is my understanding, and you will say that the people were absent reportedly. This is the kind of letter you wrote to a sovereign country's president. Now, what's on Kenny or something?
No, the iPhone chat.
Then we come back here and say, here is what they write in the third paragraph. This letter is going to piss all of you off. That's why I asked you to share. You won't even reach to the part that will piss you off here. If accurate, meaning you see the supposition there. You see they're not confident of the information. So they come up to say, if accurate, that means they are not sure. You are not sure, but you're writing nonsense to our president because you're an American company. If accurate, I'm quoting them, this would raise serious question as to whether the advice communicated to us constitute a valid resolution of the IMCC in accordance with its own governance procedures. Now, if you write something that you're not sure of, you know whatsoever, will come to the part, I want you to really remember this part. Please. Because then you will see where further down the road, they indict themselves at the level of ignorance. And I, Eugene Fahngon, I'm saying it. It's time people get to respect our leaders. You don't come from your country and disrespect our president. Because probably you have a different color scheme, or you come from an advanced country, and so you will come and disrespect our president, whether it was George Weah, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. I don't take that nonsense. No, I don't. Okay? Now, they went on to say, in the fourth paragraph, Mr. President, I am compelled to express my dismay that the IMCC, which is the Interministerial Concessions Committee, has failed to act in line with your clear policy direction as set in your executive order and has, in effect, disregarded your government's stated commitment to transparency, neutrality, and multi-user access in the rail sector. No, I disagree with you. You don't get to make that decision that these people have failed based on words like reportedly, it is my understanding. When you use those words, it means you're not sure. And so you cannot conclude that they have failed. Only an investigation conducted by His Excellency with a conclusion that they have failed will be accepted by us, the citizens. You don't get to say it is my understanding that it was not carried out, that the Minister of Mines and Energy, Justice, Finance were reportedly absent instead of what we see on the attendance record and the minutes of the meeting. You don't get to make that decision. To say you're dismayed and that somehow it's a disregard of the government's stated commitment to, quote, transparency, neutrality, and multi-user access in the rail sector. You do not get to conclude. However, after you conclude, here is the funny part, 5th paragraph. We also note with concern that the continued delays in concluding the concession and access agreement that we propose, that they're writing. Hear this kind of nonsense. Listen to nonsense. I'm a nationalist. I will repeat, quote, we also note with concern the continued delay in concluding the concession and access agreement that we proposed as far back as May 31st, 2024, nearly a year ago. What is wrong with this, I don't know, brownie pounds? You think we work at your time? That the president does not owe it to the Liberian people to do due diligence? To make sure everything is intact, and you will be the same people to run back to Congress and say he's corrupt, his government is misusing mineral resources, that he's not following the rule of law? You will be the same one. But look at the garbage of a sentence written to a sitting president, and I will repeat that sentence. We also note with concern the continued delay in concluding the concession and access agreement that we proposed as far back as May 31st, 2024, nearly a year ago. So because you propose it and it's taking 9 months, so it is delayed. Do you know how long it takes to even get a green card in the United States, let alone citizenship? Do you know how long, if we were trying to do business in the US, how long it will take for such huge mineral deposit to be handed off to a foreign company? And you just look at us like we're nothing, and you treat us with nothing. That's fine. What we will not allow is for you to treat our president the way you want to treat when you say Mr. President. And then you write such to him that because you proposed it a year ago, it has taken so long. As if to say we should not. Let's go to the sentence after that. In January 2025, you graciously committed to finalizing the agreement by the 15th of February. And on 3rd of March, you reaffirmed that the agreement would be concluded in March 2025 in a meeting with both Mr. Robert Friedland and me. Yes, he may have promised that they will conclude. But you know what? He's the president of the Republic of Liberia and not the dictator-in-chief. Let me repeat that. He's the president of the Republic of Liberia and not a dictator. We have 3 separate branches of government for the purpose of checks and balances. So hear me and hear me well. He can only do his best, but we operate a democracy in this country. He can make a commitment that hopefully will be completed in March or February. But don't forget, it has to go through the legislature, which is housed to the people. And those that are there represent us and our interests. And while it is true he can commit, they can deny it. He can approve it, they can deny it. But if he was to force it, you will call him a dictator. You will say he does not have respect for the rule of law. Do not talk down to our president. And we run a democracy here. And he can approve all he wants to approve. If the legislature says no, it is no. So to hold him because he had made some commitment or promise and write him such denigrating letter is unacceptable. And we take exception to that. Now, you continue. And this is what pisses me off as a Liberian citizen. Here is it, members of the Intelligentsia. Listen and listen very well. Quote, while we fully recognize the complexity of the process, it is disappointing that, despite your clear direction, these timelines have not been met and the government has yet to be finalized, and the agreement, has yet to be finalized or submitted to the legislature for ratification. Period. Do you see that kind of language? It is disappointing that, despite your clear direction, these timelines have not been met and the agreement has yet to be finalized or submitted to the legislature for ratification. Yes, because we have a democracy and whatever is done is scrutinized. And that's why he set up an interministerial committee. Everybody have a part to play there. You cannot come and insult our president and denigrate the office of the president and think that we are going to accept it. We're not going to accept it. We're going to put it up and read it to our people. Now, you clearly said, it appears. Remember they used the word, my understanding, then it is reportedly, then now they say it appears that the IMCC has been unable to move with the urgency and alignment your leadership has called for. It appears. Meaning you're not sure. You're not sure. It appears that they don't want to move with the urgency. We don't move when you say move. We don't jump when you say jump. Or we don't say ha ha. This is our country. And this is a new Liberia. This is not the old one. No. Now, let's go to the 5th paragraph, if I'm correct. This prolonged failure, 1 year, according to their own letter, now they call it prolonged failure. This is how they rush us into agreements like Firestone. This is how they rush us into agreements like Western Cluster, where we tied our resources to them forever, for times that we cannot even live for. This is a repeat right here. Quote in the 5th paragraph, quote, this prolonged failure to finalize an agreement that reflects declared government policy not only undermines investor confidence, but also calls into question Liberia's ability to engage in good faith, timely, and constructive partnership with international investors. No, it is the opposite. We will not accept your reverse psychology. What this actually does is prove to investors that we are ready for business. But that we will not take the short end of the stick. No. That business will not be as usual. Where LAMCO is gone, Bond Mines is gone, NRC is gone, LNC bombing is gone, and we are left destitute and impoverished. That we will do due diligence no matter how long it takes to ensure that we dot every I and cross every T's. Make no mistake, this is not Liberia of old. And this president has 42 years of public service, so he understands the game. Yes, Rita Isaac, you are right. We will no longer take peanuts. You want to run a railroad to our place? And we should be at the end of the short stay? And you think 1 year is too long? No. This is unacceptable. So for you to write this, let's go to the second sentence. These delays risk compromising not only our initial investment, but also the broader infrastructure ambition of the Liberty Corridor and future investment from both the United States and other international investors who have expressed the desire to be involved in the financing and construction of the Liberty Corridor. Now, you talk about other international investors, but you separated the United States. Is the U.S. as a country, first question, involved with this deal? Yes or no? No. Are there investors from the U.S. involved with this deal? Yes. Do you see the difference there? Is America as a country involved with this deal? As a nation? No. Are citizens or investors from the U.S. involved with this deal? Yes. But you think you can scare us when you say this, and I'm going to quote again, this delay, right, risks future investment from both the United States and other international. Why separate the U.S.? Why separate the U.S.? It's because you want to put fear in us. But I have a message for Bronwyn Barnes. What is there to be afraid of? When we were the world's largest producer of the iron ore that you want to transport today, we were the world's largest producer of iron ore. The whole round world. From LAMCO in Limba to Bond Mines in Bond County to NROC in Cape Man County, National Iron Ore Company, to LMC in Bombay County, Liberian Mining Company. What do we have to show for it today? So if you don't know the history of mining and railway operation in this country, I ask you, what is there to be afraid of now? That when you mention the U.S. government, every knee shall bow, every tongue should confess that America is God, and that we must submit and surrender our resources or our railway operations to you so fast that we don't even know what we will get from there. Why? Why? You could have said it will raise investors' confidence, but you said, quote, the corridor and future investments, both from the United States and other international investors who have expressed their desire to be involved in the financing and construction of the Liberty Corridor. Why? I don't think we should be afraid of the United States. If anything, like Rubio said, it is time to take Africa from aid to partnership. This is from the Secretary of State of the United States. So you want to command us, insult our president, instill fear in us. No, there's nothing to be afraid of. At least you are only coming here to come make twin track. Like people can call it twin track. Our Western education says railroad. But you are coming to make twin track. And you think we should be afraid? They've stolen our diamonds and gold and iron ore. Long since, to construct a railroad and use a port, you want to put fear in us to hurry the deal? What's in it for us? What's in it for us? Now you go back to say, in the last paragraph, we shall know members of the Intelligentsia will not hesitate to conclude on. Last paragraph. Mr. President, I now respectfully ask you to intervene directly to bring the matter to a close through a written directive to the INCC and other relevant stakeholders, reaffirming the government's policy, commitment to a true independent operator model, independent of all users. You want me to intervene, but you are telling me, you are instructing me how to intervene. Members of the Intelligentsia, listen again to how these people see your president. Quote, 4th paragraph. Mr. President, I now respectfully ask you, they are asking you, to intervene directly to bring the matter to a close through a written directive. You want me to intervene, but you want to tell me how to do it. Why you want me to write when I can just pick up the phone and say, hello, Minister Pierre, I need to see you now. Minister Gafouan, I need to see you. Oswald Toy, I need to see you. Wilma Pay, I need to see you. 8 o'clock, all 4 of your 5 here. But you say you are asking the president to intervene, but he must do so through a written directive. This is our country. We run our country. This is our president. Okay? So to do that to our president is disrespectful. Disrespectful by leaking the communication. Disrespectful by your words to our president. Disrespectful by instructing him. Let me read the other sentence. Listen again. Doing so, will we believe, protect. Wait. Let me read it one good. Doing so, will we believe, protect Liberia's sovereign national interests while assuring confidence and clarity required for Ivanhoe Atlantic and other investors. Are you serious? Doing so, will we believe, protect Liberia's also when the president writes a written directive, will mayor believe? Really? Really? Y'all do this to our president? Oh God. They go on to say, prompt, P-R-O-M-P-T, prompt and decisive action would send this powerful message, will send this powerful message, that Liberia remains committed to a rules-based investment environment and that it welcomes serious partners who are aligned with its long-term development goal. So what if the president does not do that? This disrespectful letter, someone go and tell Avanho Atlantic that as members of the Intelligentsia, we demand an apology. We demand an apology to the office of the president or to the president himself. This is utter nonsense, and you all need to stop. You all need to stop. The last but not the least, so that I can join my brother for us to run up and down to somewhere. Someone here?
You better?
Yeah, I'm on live. You got something for me?
I just want to speak up.
Ah!
You call for the meeting.
No, it's happening. I will call you here in a minute. Send me a quick text or something.
Okay.
I will respond. So, this morning, I woke up, and this one will be fast. And I saw a response from Brother Amara Kone to Yusuf Bilite of the CDC. In that response, which I will read, apparently the debate over who designed the projects and who sourced the funding and yada yada yada. So I said, well, let me read it 3 or 4 times. I did. And from Brother Amara Kone, Senator Kone, to be professional and respectful, he says, Yusuf Bilite, what's in this post that make it difficult to understand? It was good that the UP government did the design, which means it had good intentions for the country. But President Weah and his government mobilized the resources to build the road. The road is the outcome and what we desperately need. That's all that matters. And I commend him for it. We should embrace success, especially when it benefits Liberia. Then I thought for a second, I said, is this politics or should I leave it? Because on the one hand, if the UP government designed the roads, you don't think they had plans for sourcing the funding, and you don't think they negotiated for the funding before designing the roads and coming up with a plan? The first question I ask myself. The second question, I thought these people from the CDC always say that we are blueprint. Then how come Amara saying it was UP that designed the road? Which one? Am I confused over the design and the blueprint, or is just my head bubbling? Secondly, you mobilized funding for the road, but you did not get the funding. So how then did you mobilize the funding? And if you did get some of the funding, you started the roads, but you never took them anywhere in 6 years. So I want to stick with the latter. You mobilized funding, but the roads were never built. It's now the roads are being built, and extra fundings are being mobilized. In some cases, as the information minister said the last time, they had to take a whole piece of the corridor, RIA, because it was poorly constructed, and do it all over again. So how is it? I don't understand. According to him, the road is the outcome and what we desperately need. Yes, it's true. But in that desperation, Senator Kone claimed that it was the previous government that mobilized the funding. The last time I checked, Kafua and others were still mobilizing money for some of the corridors. So I don't understand. But again, I think it's politics. But again, we got to be careful with these kind of screenshots. Because then when the reality comes in and people begin to speak the truth, they will come back to the screenshot and say, having mobilized funding from this place, that place, for this road, that road, that road, and you said that were the people that mobilized the funding for the road, what were you trying to say then? Okay? What were you trying to say then? So, someone asked me, Jenna, can you point out Joseph Boakai? They say, Spoon asked that silly question. Let Joseph Boakai point to one project that he has started. After the chicken egg, the 2 chicken portrait era came during Jawia time. Then they said, oh no, we're talking about that one. I like that they can move the GoPro. They said, we're talking, I said, but I didn't want to carry your way back because you got short memory. So the one that happened in the last 72 hours for bombing and Carriagesburg, I carry your 2 there. Now the last 48 hours, where you want to say? No, but we're talking about that one. I said to put it one side. The construction of the 20 megawatt solar plant to complement the 88 megawatt at the Simple Hydro that is ongoing right now, that will be dedicated in October, that Jawia project. No, we're talking about that one. I said, you see, your whole country had 88 megawatt. This president brought 20 megawatt in a Jawia project. I said, so don't ask me to name one project because the project is too plenty under the Boakai's administration. It's too plenty. Because one day you say you want to dedicate hand pump. That one, that project, that Pojo. Something wrong with you. And you think the country going backwards. Think again. That's why I'm blasting at that so-called investor who wants to denigrate the office of our president and disrespect our president while we sit down here and be afraid to tell him you're wrong. He better apologize. If he does not apologize, that will be the last meeting. Because no South Liberian will go to any meeting with him. And I will make that clear to the Ministry of Finance, Justice, Mines and Energy, that you do not attend meeting with someone who denigrates and disrespects your president. Walk out of that meeting until they apologize. And that is my position. And when I tell you I'll do something, I'll do it. I don't want to do it on camera. Okay? I don't want to. Look at that fool. I read the thing line by line. Everybody agreed. Then he said, stop misleading the people. I mean misleading the people, or I really let up. Oh, y'all want to go to America, y'all ain't know how to go there. For all will go in PP and come back. So we're not in front of nothing. And even the American embassy knows that they should not have written such a letter to a sitting president. Even the American embassy in Liberia knows that that was disrespectful and wrong. And I challenge them to issue a statement and say that was right. If they respect freedom of speech to the point where they will not be held accountable for disrespecting a president and denigrating his office, then we too will show them that we demand respect here. Yeah. May God bless you all. I find my brother will go anywhere right now. We're just going to Gallivant and go Gallivant at all. So y'all get questions, y'all can ask the question. But again, there are a couple of things. They got people, I call them passport size commentator. And then someone asked me why you could call them passport size commentator. Because even myself sat on our platform. If you sit in there with a device, small, then passport size, St. Johnson, passport size, Azedo, passport size, Kefiko, the yada. Where they going? Passport size commentator. The election over. Okay? The election over. So that way back thing, we're not accepting it. We'll take our time to enter this agreement, and the Liberian people will get their fair share. We're not in no hurry. But you will not disrespect our president and ask us to sit with you in another meeting. We're ready. Good night.